Wow.
Oh, okay.
Look at that. It says we're live.
We're live.
We did it.
Wow.
How do I get back to the comments? Oh, there we are.
There they are.
Fantastic.
There we are. Okay, I'm going to put the screen on you.
All right. It's time to do a show.
Yeah.
Hope you guys are ready.
What is this?
Right?
Why are there three of them?
What happened? Bring back Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I mean,
Frankly.
I was here for Monster Hunter, guys. Not for this weirdness. All right, John. Ready when you are.
We are ready.
Let's do it. Welcome, everyone, to Good Night and Good Game, your source for geek news for the weeks that were. This week, we're joining you with 25% more DEI. I'm your host, James, and with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Hector.
Hello.
Our fantastic producer, John.
It's me.
And we have a special guest this week that some of you older listeners may know, our old podcast co-host, Lash.
why hello. It's a pleasure to be back.
This week on the show, much like Utada Hikaru, we are keeping things simple and clean. With the weekly raid is going to go over everything that was discussed during PlayStation's State of Play. And in the boss room, we're going to be talking about how the future of gaming is portable. But before we start, don't forget that you can head over to goodnight.gg, where as a patron of our show, you can suggest topics for us to talk about. Also, as a patron, you get access to our off-week episodes. All right, with all that out of the way, it's time to get into the weekly raid.
The weekly raid.
All right, everyone, it's time for the weekly raid. There was a lot of news this week, but the most important thing that happened actually happened the other day, which was the PlayStation State of Play. So I'm dedicating all the weekly raid this week to the big announcements, the big things that were shown. And honestly, we're going to start off with a huge one, which is they showed off a new Monster Hunter Wilds trailer.
Yeah, y'all are going to have to bear with us for a minute because we, the three of us here at this table, are not just large fans of the series. We're pretty much planning to just no-life this game the second it drops.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it was a really good trailer. I'm very excited for this
We've
game.
said that the reason we're playing so much Marvel Rivals is because that game might just go away as soon as Monster Hunter comes
No,
out.
exactly. Yeah, I got to get my battle pass finished before
Yeah.
before Wilds drops in 2 weeks. I think
Yeah,
from now.
2 weeks. So, Lash, man,
excited.
you're super hyped for this, aren't you?
I might not have a job after this drops, truthfully. I mean, I work from home, so it kind of works out.
Yeah.
But also, they're going to hate me for however long it takes me to get bored with this game.
Have
Yeah.
you
Truly.
already decided on your weapons
Yes.
you're going to do? What are you going to do?
Definitely Charge Blade.
Charge Blade.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Interesting. Good
And
choice.
then a floater, maybe like Greatsword or Longsword or something
Okay.
like that. I really like Longsword, just
This
the
is the
mechanics.
first game where you can have two weapons
I
like
know.
with you at once. So,
Yep. I played some of the beta this last weekend when
Yep.
it was up again.
Hell yeah.
And I didn't really do much other than just kind of run around with the stuff they gave me right off the bat. So
Mm-hmm.
I picked up Charge Blade, and they put, I can't remember which gun they give you
Mm-hmm.
as like your secondary. or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, they give you the short bow.
Yep. And so I ran around just trying to figure. I suck, man. Like,
Oh, yeah.
It's been so long since I played that I don't remember any of the combos or anything like
I
that.
mean, it's a brand new game, brand new world.
I know.
Yeah. World felt like a while ago. I remember when I got into
Yep.
the beta the first time, and I was just trying to remember everything and remembering how much of a fucking Rosetta Stone the control scheme is compared to everything else. It's like, where is all my shit? There's
I
so
got
much
my
shit.
start on the PlayStation Portable. That's where I started Monster Hunter.
No kidding.
Oh man.
And never in all of the years that I've been playing Monster Hunter have I ever been a greatsword user.
No
so
kidding.
I'm considering going
Yeah.
greatsword this go
It's
around.
pretty fun, man. Like
Yeah.
if you really master the timing and some of the crazy big hits, it can be ridiculously cool to like you get real good payoff.
I feel like you can just look like a complete badass having
Yeah,
a greatsword.
absolutely, but you also look like an absolute buffoon a lot of the time until you get there,
Right.
So it's one of those things where if you're
That's
playing
why
your
I like
friends,
to play with you guys because
Yeah.
you'll just insult me
Yep.
the whole time.
Exactly,
That'll
that's the
make
best
me a
part.
better player.
Yep.
That's the idea.
learn this shit. Yep.
So yeah, we're all excited for Monster Hunter Wilds. Up next, they showed Shinobi Art of Vengeance. It was a reveal trailer. This is by the people who made Streets of Rage 4. It is
So fucking cool.
This trailer like knocked my socks off.
Yeah.
It is beautifully animated. The fact that Shinobi's coming back after like 30 years out of
Yeah.
nowhere, and it looks like it's kind of hardcore of a game.
Yeah.
Like it looks like it's going to be really brutal of a game to
Yeah.
play.
It's got that old school Ninja Gaiden difficulty feel to it,
Mm-hmm.
and But Shinobi was a contemporary with Ninja Gaiden almost. They're like right around the same time. They missed each other by maybe a couple of years, but they always had the same DNA. But Shinobi had more magic and shit in it.
Yeah, that was the whole thing of it.
This trailer was so full of ninja magic and like epic shit like that. Oh, it's very exciting.
And let's be real, that's what you want
Oh,
out
yeah.
of a game like that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Truly.
Yeah, if you're going to bring back an old franchise like that, I mean, having the team that did Streets of Rage 4, using that new, it's not cell shaded technique, but it's a very stylized animation technique that they use for it. It's absolutely gorgeous. Even in the trailer, there was tons of references to like the old Shinobi games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'm super excited about that.
And I think the guys at Second Wind said it best recently. It was about a different game, but they they said essentially like, thank you developers for watching all the Metroid and Vania's likes
Yeah.
and stealing. I mean, being influenced by all the stuff they do right.
Absolutely. I'm so here for companies learning the right lessons
Right.
that games teach them. Thank you for keeping it 2D. Thank you for keeping the animation crisp and smooth and not trying to make a 3D epic open world MMORPG out of it.
Developers don't have excuses anymore.
No.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
they've failed
come
so
on.
publicly so many times that it's like, and there's examples of all people doing all the right shit all around them. So yeah,
and they somehow don't learn. But realistically, it looks like some of the people on this list have.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thankfully.
absolutely. I think one of the things that tripped me out the first time I saw the Streets of Rage 4 trailer was watching it, my brain went, this is what you thought it looked like when you were a kid.
Yeah, right.
The way
Yeah.
the graphics looks like, this is what you pretend it looked like in your head, but it never looked like that on the Genesis.
Yeah, God, Streets of Rage 4 was fantastic.
I never did get around to playing it. I need to
Really good.
sometime.
It's a couch co-op
Yeah,
game.
let's just get really high and fucking play Streets of
Hell
Rage.
yeah.
sometime.
Yeah, sacrifice a movie night to it and just get everyone on the big TV.
There you go. Next up, I don't know how I feel about this one. I feel like this is a brief interlude in the everything else. Was the Sonic Racing Cross Worlds? Are people
Oh
excited?
shit! Sonic
Okay.
Racing Crossworlds? Nobody told me that.
Listen,
John sold.
I'm gonna jump in here really quick. Okay, so I don't know if this game is gonna be any good, but I had some friends that played one that released a few years back. I want to say it was a Sonic Racing game.
Sonic Team Racing, I
They
remember that one.
loved the shit out of it.
It was
Really?
a great
Yes.
racer.
Wow.
It was made
Yeah.
and it was trying its best to learn everything it could from Mario
Yep.
Kart, and the DNA was there. It was a good kart racer.
I mean, let's face the facts. Like, there are people who like are fans of Sonic, and then there are Sonic fans.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
well,
they are
yeah.
two different breeds, and I probably shouldn't use that word when discussing
Right,
Sonic.
and that's the thing, right? Like
No,
we
they
just
love
triggered
it when you call it that.
we just triggered every poor Gen Z kid who was exposed to like Sonic inflation art at 11
Do
on
not
the
Google
internet. Don't Google that.
No.
But this game might be triggering for those poor kids. But and I'm gonna be this guy for a second. The games are good, and this one actually looked like a really good kart racer. I resent the idea of Sonic the Hedgehog being in a car.
Right?
What's the
He's
point?
literally the fastest thing alive. No car could ever go as fast as this hedgehog.
So what? Why?
What are we doing?
They should just have all the other characters in carts and him not.
Exactly. And him just not. Even
Alright.
Tails gets a car.
Yeah.
So the next
right?
trailer that they showed, I actually messaged Hector when I was watching this, and I went, yo, why did Digimon go this hard in their trailer? When I was watching this video, I was like, is this an Atlas game? Like, this looks like the
That's
beginning of a
funny.
Persona game. And they're like, Digimon. And I'm like, who the fuck even remembers Digimon?
Yeah, I don't know what
You do.
Digimon is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I do.
Hector doesn't know what it is.
Oh, I love that
Yeah.
shit, man.
I know that it is the GoBots of Pokemon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Flash,
And
please,
that's all I know.
for our audience, please explain what Digimon is.
Okay, so it's like a virtualized world, I guess, instead of Pokemon, but it's Pokemon. But also the monsters that you create, breed, build, evolve. That's the word. They're like the adult. I say adult, but they're like the adult versions of Pokemon. But you also got those games where on the PlayStation, where you could put in other discs and other
Oh,
music, and
I've heard
it
of
would
this.
spawn a specific monster to
Yeah.
that CD.
Weird.
Yeah, it would
Yeah.
generate one based on what you put into it, right?
Yeah, the CD itself, and like there were rare monsters that you could find that were on these like obscure movies or music discs that
I
people
did
would go
play a
after,
game
stuff
similar
like
to
that.
that in high school called Dragon Seed, and it specifically used music tracks, and it would like if you put in a Metallica CD, like you would get like the most badass like monster that
That's
would come
cool.
out of it. It was really cool.
Yeah,
But-
effectively the same kind of thing where it was like a hot swappable thing where you put in a random disc and it would generate like a monster. And nowadays, I mean, we live in a world where video games have been just absolutely, what's the word? I don't know, just torn apart as far as mechanics are concerned. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So everyone knows exactly how to get everything.
Yeah,
Um,
and you can't, you can just, instead of solving things
Yeah.
for themselves, everyone's got a website up,
Yep,
a tutorial.
and that was not that back then. So it was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, we
Very
barely
true.
had game FAQs back
Yep.
then.
And I gotta say, having never seen the trailer until now, this has got to be the most important story ever told. Like half the world blows up, then it goes to black screen, white text, like Helvetica text, and it's got to be like one of the most important things that we will ever experience.
I agree.
Third Impact all over
Yeah, no
again.
kidding.
Right.
Fuck.
They showed a new trailer for Lost Soul Aside. Very,
Yeah, that was an interesting trailer because I was watching it going, what in the Final Fantasy fuck?
Right.
And then they said the name, and I was like, so it's not Final Fantasy.
Right.
But that's a Final Fantasy
But
ass
it
name.
definitely looks the most Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it looks like what they may have wanted to do after 16. And I don't know who made this.
Yeah, there was like some Japanese studio that did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think I've ever heard of the studio actually.
No. This is I don't know if this is a first venture or what any of the fuck is going on, but it looked really
Yeah,
cool.
it's like
The
Big
art was
Dragon,
gorgeous.
but like normal looking person, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of that going around these days. So
It's a type of game that my entire life I have been trained to think there's no way the game lives up to that trailer.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is exactly what that looked like.
But it's a
That's-
hero's journey, Hector.
I've been I go on a hero's journey every day.
Yep.
So next up was a series that I want to get into, but like, have you ever like heard that quote that's just like, I don't know what blank is, and at this point I'm too afraid to ask?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's how I feel about the Yakuza series.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, everybody seems to be having such a good time with this, but I've never played one.
Yep.
Is it like Grand Theft Auto
Not
or
The problem is
Exactly.
they're all different.
The Yakuza 0 and plus numbered series are the same types of games for the most part. They're open world, but it's a very small, usually a section of Tokyo, sometimes other places. And it's almost like a
Action RPG?
yes, a Shenmue style day in the life
Okay,
simulator, but
okay.
there's a lot of gang shit going
Yeah.
on. It can be incredibly absurd. There's this one scene
seen
where
that.
people play rugby with a baby. There are so many
Seems like a bad idea.
fucking mini games
We
from
do not condone the use of babies for rugby.
little go-kart racing like mini games that
Yeah.
you can walk into a parlor where people do this and become this place's fucking champion. They will have t-shirts with your face on it. And that's the same for most of the places around town. A bar where, you compete at who drinks the most or who does the best karaoke or who
That's
picks
funny.
the best crawfish for like a crawfish battle. I don't know, man. Sometimes Japanese people are a little weird to
But
me.
like the name of this game is Yakuza Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
Right. So what you're running into is I was just describing the the numbered Yakuza series.
Right.
What you have now is Like a Dragon, which is a child series, and this one is getting a Pirates in Hawaii theme. Because it's
Alright.
not the only pirate themed one, so we have to differentiate. Again, I will say, I've never played one of these games, but I've watched a lot about them because they do seem like a
Yep.
lot of fun. I just don't think I can sit down for 12 games.
Yeah,
I don't.
they're pirate
like,
gangs.
I will probably really like it, and that's what scares me.
Yeah, you'll just play all of them.
Yeah.
Your entire year will.
Yeah,
just
I
be
will.
playing
I will just
Yakuza.
lose a year to Yakuza games.
But in also Yakuza news, and this is probably the more exciting part for Hector, the game Dave the Diver is
Oh,
getting
yeah.
a crossover DLC
Yes.
with Yakuza Like a Pirate, like a dragon pirate.
Yep.
Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
See,
I
this
was
is
not
what
ready
people-
for this.
This is what people don't understand because when people look at at the fish one. Sorry.
Dave the Diver.
Dave the Diver. When people look at Dave the Diver, they're like, indie studio, cool. They made this one little game and it's adorable. Not an indie studio, a full budgeted, like absolute truck of a studio that can do things like, hey, Yakuza, do you want to do a crossover with our little crunchy pixel game where you dive for fish and then serve them in your sushi restaurant? Like it's so fun.
It's stuff
so
that shouldn't
ridiculous.
happen, but somehow it does.
It's such a wonderful game, and it having a Yakuza crossover sounds
Hector, are you calling Dave the Diver AstroTurf?
amazing. No.
Okay.
It's a very quality game
All
made
right.
by people who love it. It's not like pretending to be indie. It just chose an art style that everyone.
It's not like finding a
associates
young
with
model and giving her lyrics and
it. Right. It's not an industry plant.
okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
Got it.
All right.
Next up, interestingly enough, it was the trailer for Splitgate 2, a sequel I don't know if we needed.
Well, if you play Splitgate, you maybe wanted Splitgate 2.
I don't even.
Maybe
Splitgate
It's-
is a game where they copied almost one for one Halo 2.
Looks like Tribes.
Halo
like Portal.
2's combat.
Yeah.
And then they put portals in it.
Right.
Like straight up from portals.
Yeah.
So you can just make portals and fuck with people while trying to shoot them with Halo guns.
In the face.
And it's all kinds of crazy parkour, and the people who play it fucking love it. Like, the community is loud and proud, and apparently they were trying to do some code development for a while, like keep improving on one while developing two, and then they're just like, we just shut one off, and we're gonna two is going to come out. Sorry guys, we can't do both at once.
Yeah, I played the original Splitgate back at like a PAX like 5 or 6 years ago or something like that. And I was like, this is fun. I just don't know if it'll catch on.
Right, yeah, and that's the thing. It's one of those like niche ones like Valorant where plenty of people play it, but it's nobody's like out, in the news about it.
Exactly.
All right.
All right. Did we need to spend any time talking about the fact they showed us a WWE trailer?
No, I don't
Yes.
care. I care
Yes.
so little.
Yes.
Yeah. There was
No,
a
I'm
trailer.
just kidding.
They said more customization,
Yeah.
which translates in those games to more microtransactions. Call it a day.
Yeah, no, look, I have nothing against wrestling. I think wrestling is cool. I love the idea of telling, theater style stories through like this weird violence ballet.
Physicality.
It's beautiful. Wrestling is cool. But the thing about the federations that represent it, most of them, is they're gross, and I
They're
don't want to
very
buy
gross,
their products.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and pitch Dark Side of the Ring. It's a
Oh.
documentary about all the crazy, mostly awful shit that has happened throughout the history of wrestling and all the various federations. and
Lash
stuff like
is
that.
trying to make our weeks
Oh, yeah.
worse.
Hey, man, I was
It's
really
true.
into wrestling when I was younger. And
Watch that.
Yeah, so that'll be
Hard-
interesting. Also,
Hard
there's
Ring.
apparently Netflix just put up a documentary about Vince McMahon and what a trash human being he is.
They cover a lot of things
Yeah.
in that documentary series, and it's like I think 3 seasons now.
Oh, fuck.
And I mean, it has episodes on all the crazy stuff, Chris Benoit, like a bunch of other stuff, you know, like the history, and
Okay.
they go back far.
All right. Well, our resident Borderlands player, our
Bing,
fine
bing, bing.
producer John, is in the house. We got a new trailer for Borderlands 4.
I'm gonna say, while I am a Borderlands enjoyer, I've played all of them.
We played them
But
years ago.
Ross and I have played every single one of these
Wait,
together.
is Lash? Can you commiserate about the pre-sequel? Are you a pre-sequel person?
I only played 1 and 2.
Ah, okay.
Yep.
See, Hector's my only guy I can
Yeah,
talk
I
about
love
the pre-sequel.
Pre-sequel.
Yeah,
Pre-sequel was fucking
bring
excellent.
back Low Gravity.
Yeah, so what I was saying was like I was not looking forward to 4. I was not at all. I was like, I mean, I'm really sour these days on Randy Pitchford. I don't like the humor for 3 fell really flat
That's
for me.
where it lost me.
Then I saw this trailer and I was like, oh fuck, they made the combat fun.
Okay.
The guns feel like in the trailer anyway. They have weight to them.
yeah.
They have actual recoil. They feel like they're fun to shoot and not a like number in a number generator in an RPG.
That's
It- It looks like you have a lot of physicality, like
like
and
Doom chunk to the
Yeah.
shots. Yeah.
it looks like it feels good to play.
Yeah.
And that sounds awesome. So I think that trailer made me in for 4. I'm in.
All right.
And am I the only guy on Earth who played Borderlands 3 and thought, there's too many guns.
Probably.
There's too many. Like, I mean, at the point where you're auto selling your white and blues or white and greens and blues, like just
Too
just
many guns.
give us less guns or just make certain tiers not exist anymore. That's
Right.
what they're gonna have to do,
Or
right?
make certain tiers stop dropping at certain levels.
Pull a
you know,
Diablo
something.
3 or something like that.
Yeah,
where
that-
it's just
that-
like
that's what-
trash loot is trash.
Yeah.
You don't need it anymore.
That's what 3 needed. There's this game that I will never stop talking about called Ruiner, and it was a isometric brawler, very cyberpunk. Where you like wander down into dungeons wearing like a motorcycle helmet that says how you're feeling on it. It's
Okay.
like murder or rage,
Yeah.
and you go in there and you beat people to death or shoot them. Anyway, enemies drop guns, and you can pick them up and use them. They have a limited amount of ammo, so they're very interchangeable.
Okay.
You're dropping and picking them up all the time. When you finish an arena, a little machine falls down.
Oh no. Okay.
And you touch it, and it eats all of the guns that you haven't picked up that have been dropped in the area, and spits you out like one way better gun.
Nice.
And I just always thought it was such an elegant solution to getting rid of all this trash,
Yes.
and just giving you something that's worth a damn.
I don't want to menu hop and have to disenchant a bunch of shit.
Having to go back to town to sell your shit. Yeah.
I just don't care anymore.
I'm not even kidding. Every third or fourth play of Borderlands is literally just like, oh, I got to go through my inventory.
you know.
I got to see what's what. I got to cash in a couple gold keys and then go back and see what. It's just, it's just inventory. I'm just back to doing,
Borderlands is
bureaucracy
suddenly an
with
inventory
files and
management
folders.
Simulator.
Yeah, absolutely.
The next show they showed was for the upcoming game Split Fiction. Hard to really go into this too much, but
I mean, shit. I am stupid excited.
Sold on this one.
So this is from the team that did It Takes
Takes
Two.
Two.
It Takes
Yeah.
Two, and before that,
We
the
played-
Starbreeze people. We played It Takes Two.
Yeah. Okay.
Selena and I actually started playing
Yes.
It Takes Two. Really
It-
enjoyed it.
it's
I actually
so
picked it up
fucking good.
again because we had played it on the PlayStation, I think. And so we picked it up and we need to play through the whole thing. But
Yeah.
it was very good, and she's
Yeah.
been begging me to play, so we got to do that.
They did A Way Out, which I never played, which I really meant to, and they did the Brothers game, and that was
their
one
whole
person
thing is
that was
couch
just
co-op, 2 players.
Which, thank God.
Yeah.
so-
we need more of that shit in life.
so good, and I can't wait for this one. I mean, it looks so badass, and it's literally just the game not just designed around co-op, but a game designed for cooperation with
Yeah.
another person, hopefully sitting next to you, but they don't have to be.
But we got that, like, I don't know if it really ever occurred, but Little Big Planet, I feel like, really started that. And maybe I'm wrong because I didn't play anything before that, but like I feel like Little Big Planet was the first time I really, when you and I would play that in Corpus and stuff like that. And it was where you had to work together. It wasn't just
But one person would have to do a thing
Yeah.
while the other person did stuff you'd planned,
Yep.
and then like move around obstacles. Yeah, absolutely.
Next up is Directive 8020. It's one of the Dark Pictures games.
Oh
Yeah,
the
so-
guys who did The Quarry.
Yeah, so if you're unfamiliar with their work, essentially they do horror anthology video games.
Yeah.
An idea that I had 10 years ago, and I'm so mad that somebody stole it from me. But it looks interesting. All their stuff is very narrative heavy.
Yeah.
It's very, the decisions you make will affect who lives, who dies. It is playing a horror movie.
Right, it's beautiful animation, very little in the way of gameplay.
Yeah.
You're mostly watching a story and making decisions for the characters acting on screen. And they get real actors, and I mean real actors. Like Rami Malek was in one of them.
No
Yep.
kidding.
Yeah. They're this to me is like game night game.
Yeah.
Like you get 5 people over and like if you don't have a board game or don't want to put like 6 hours into teaching like all your friends the rules of this piece of shit, you can just put on one of these and everyone will have the time of their life for like 3 or 4
So
hours
let
and
me
then go
explain
home.
that for a second, because I do have the Quarry installed on my PS5, and the reason for that is for in the event that we have friends over.
Yeah.
And the way that these games work is much like Jackbox, people can log into the game on their phone. And everybody who's in the room and logs into the game can vote to make the decisions that happen in the horror movie. So
That's
all of
cool.
you are sitting around and like putting in where you think things should go.
That is so
Yeah.
fucking cool.
It's really entertaining. I'm surprised it's not more of a thing just culturally because I don't think people know that this is an option, or maybe people don't have friends anymore. But it's a great way to spend a night.
That sounds super fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been wanting to play it forever. Just never had enough people. I don't have enough friends.
I live too far away now.
I know. All right, so
Aw.
next up, they showed the trailer for the new Five Nights at Freddy's game called
Yeah.
Secret of the Mimic.
What do you guys?
never-
I need to know. I need to know what you all think about this.
I've never played
this series,
these
and I haven't either. Is
Yeah.
why I asked.
So I know too much about it because I was really into the YouTube for it
Okay.
when it was first
Yeah.
a thing.
Yep.
Some people hate it mostly because it was one of those things that made ScreamTube popular.
Yeah.
Where the kids would, get
Yep.
scared and react really over the toply to with a camera on their face. That's fallen out of fashion, so we didn't even have to worry about that shit anymore.
All right.
As a horror series, apparently it's one of those things where I really hate to make this comparison,
Uh-oh.
everybody, but in a From Software game,
Oh, God.
the idea while you're playing the game is you're piecing the lore together based on context clues and the stuff around you. The game isn't telling you a story.
Yeah.
You're getting bits and pieces here and there, and you're putting it together. These games were the fucking master of that shit.
No shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything was context. Everything was an ARG where it's like, oh, this explains what happened in the last game. And like, if I start to put the story together, there's a whole history of why these fucking animatronic little puppets are murdering
The
all
Chuck E.
the
Cheese
kids.
dolls.
Exactly. Are murdering people, and it's really fucking cool. Like if you get into the lore, as if you just
Yeah.
have one explainer, right?
I was thinking about watching the movie, even though I heard it's not that great, just
Yeah.
because Matthew Lillard's in it, and
Yeah.
that man could be on the cereal box, and I would watch it for hours.
Yes,
I
never
did
once in my
watch
life have I been interested in playing one of these games.
Yeah.
but I would just like watch it for the story, and it was kind of cool.
All right.
Yeah. All right, now I want to talk about something that I'm really excited for, though, and that is the Midnight Walk.
Yeah, Midnight Walk. Oh my god.
Oh, this game blew my mind.
I haven't seen a game look this good
It-
maybe ever. The art style
It's
is
stop
insane.
motion. They literally,
really?
Yeah,
the
it's actually
entire thing
stop
is
motion.
actual stop motion.
Yeah.
They literally use stop motion animation
Yeah.
to film every character. in
That's
it.
crazy.
Yeah, like I was looking
How
at
long
this
has this
going,
been in development?
Oh,
Right?
years.
Yeah.
Years they have been working on. It's like some like Norwegian
Yeah.
studio or something like that that's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And like they even brought out for the State of Play brought out the figures they used for the stop
That
motion.
is insane.
And like
Are they the guys that did Lost in Random?
I think so. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm halfway through that. It's great.
I've heard nothing but good things. I haven't played it yet, but I should.
Damn.
yeah, but yeah, Midnight Walk, man. If you love stop motion, if you love horror,
Yeah.
if you just like vibes, like this game is all vibes. And man, I'm so glad that they didn't show too much of it because I
Yeah.
want it to be. A
I
surprise.
stopped watching the trailer because I was like, I want to see every frame of this by myself. I like looked at my phone until
Yeah.
the trailer was
In
over.
fact, I kind of did the same thing, but the way it impacted me when I saw this trailer was the way that I felt the first time I saw the trailer for Scorn.
Okay.
yeah,
It was like, oh god, like they took a certain
This is
art,
a
they
thing.
took
Scorn was so fucking cool.
Giger's art style and then just made a game out of it.
Yeah.
Yo.
And like that's what I feel like watching the Midnight Walk. Like, oh man! And this is the year. I haven't really talked about this much, but my game theme for the year
Okay.
this year is indie games. So all year, with a couple of exceptions, I'm mostly playing indie titles.
Monster Hunter.
I'm working
Yeah.
right. That is an exception. I'm working through Citizen Sleeper 2 right now, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But like, I saw stuff like Midnight Walk, and I'm like, man, I picked a good year to do
Yeah.
nothing but indie diving because this is
Yep.
gonna be good.
The moment you said stop motion animation, just total aside here, it reminded me of Parks and Rec when he builds that like he spends like a week building that
Oh
little
my
stop
Compared
motion
it to
clip.
Avatar.
yeah. And he's like, hang on, let me show it
Yes.
to you. And it's like 1.5
It's like-
seconds long. And he's like, oh my god, is that all I made?
Yes, that's exactly what the moment I heard it. That
In
was what popped in my
fairness,
mind.
to be fair,
To be fair,
To be fair,
I wonder how many genuine artists who have created masterworks think at the last minute they're like, my friends are all gonna know how depressed I am.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah.
okay, we're gonna get a little bit long in the tooth. It's gonna take a while to get through these. So I'm gonna skip around just a little bit.
Cool.
Let's talk about the Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, the Onimusha 2 remake.
Thank you.
Fuck yes.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
why don't you guys talk about? Because I've not played this series, so
it
why
doesn't
don't
matter.
you just are you guys?
This is the
a
one,
remake?
right? With the the actor.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah,
actor
yeah. Uh-huh.
that they
Yeah.
I'm blanking on his name, but they brought him back. They did it in the anime too.
Jubei. Yeah. No,
What's
no.
the guy's name? The famous samurai actor from way back in the day. He's
Yeah.
passed now, but they licensed his face to use as the character in the.
Ah,
they did it in
okay.
the anime too, but they're doing it for the game.
Okay.
Yep.
He was like the most
absolutely.
famous Japanese samurai actor.
Yeah. It
And
was
I can't believe I'm blanking on this
just
because
a-
I was
No,
just reading
I don't
about
have
it.
his name in my head right now. But anyway, Onimusha 2 came out forever ago.
Yeah,
After
this
Onimusha 1.
This was the PlayStation 2 one, right?
Yes, it was PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Mifune.
Yeah, there you
you
go. The remake looks incredible. This was a weird game because the first game was very much just Resident Evil 1, but with samurai and demons rather than zombies and cops and guns. And like there was a little bit of more action to it, a little bit more magic, and it was a little more fantasy, but overall it played like Resident Evil. There were puzzle box buildings that you could only go a certain way until you unlock different routes and trick back puzzles, and you enter a new area, the same area as before, but now it's new with new monsters because you're further in the game, all that kind of stuff. The second game was like a romp across like the backwoods of Japan, and you met different people, and you could give them gifts to make them like you more, and you could play as them sometimes, and they'd be more powerful if they liked you if you gave them
Interesting.
gifts. And
Super cool series.
so much shit
Fun
going
fact,
on.
I'm actually more powerful than more people that like me.
It's
Yeah,
true.
same.
Which is why I'm so weak.
Yeah, he's gonna be for the new Onimusha Way of the Sword game.
Yeah, so that's up next. Yeah, the next
Yeah.
trailer was Way of the Sword.
Yes.
Now that looks amazing, and I was hoping
looks
that like
so fucking good.
I've never played the Onimusha games, but I was looking at this going, if this is a good jumping on point, I'm fucking in.
Bro, please, did you watch the anime?
No, I did not.
Takeshi Miike.
Really?
Yes, he did the anime. He directed it.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
For the love of God, watch that
It's
because
super
it's
good.
fucking crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah. And the fact that he's playing is because they've always been like a little bit obviously history
Like
adjacent.
based in reality to
But
some
they're
extent.
based in reality,
Yeah.
like the whole first three games, you're fighting Oda Nobunaga, and in this one you're playing as Miyamoto Musashi, like just like the legend who killed 1,000 men with a sword in like one battle, that type of shit. Yeah, just like, and he comes off as
Aloof.
aloof
Aloof is a good
and
word for
like
it.
kind of a joker
Yeah.
while he's like fighting hundreds of dudes. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So badass.
It is remarkable, and the anime does a really good job of showing that.
So you
personality
weren't
of him
here
as
for
well.
it, Lash, but Hector, I had never seen many samurai movies before.
Oh, yeah.
Hector put me through the paces this year, or
Good.
last year.
Good.
And like we watched a bunch, so now I feel like I have a new respect going into the medium.
Did you play Ghost of Tsushima?
Not yet.
Okay, so I hadn't played it until I started a run through last week, and holy shit, I have not seen a game be as good of a samurai movie as that game is.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Every single
wild.
fucking frame in that game is one of the most beautiful things you'll ever see. It's insane. Yeah, remarkable. But anyway, sorry, didn't mean to go
So
there.
next up, I gotta say, after the Onimusha 2 reveal, and then I saw the reveal trailer for Metal Gear Solid Delta
Yeah.
Snake Eater, and I went, "Wow, the
Yeah.
PlayStation 2 is so back, y'all!
PlayStation 2 is
we're
so fucking back.
so back.
But-
we're just
but-
remaking all the things that we loved as kids."
Right.
I have a beef with this,
Yeah.
and I'm sure that
Is
I'm
it,
not
is it
the
a
only
ground
one.
beef or is it like a steak?
it is a ground beef.
Okay.
Like
Like-
really fatty, gross ground. No, I
Beef
love
with
fatty ground
clay.
beef, but you
Is
know
it
what
like
I
an
mean.
80-20?
It's like the gas station
Oh God.
Yeah.
poorly saran wrapped
Taco Bell beef.
ground beef. I don't know if I can support that shit anymore.
Konami,
Especially, yeah, like after they have done dirty to,
So I do want to say this, as somebody who is such a Kojima fan and will talk for hours about what they did to him because I have studied it ad nauseum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the yeah.
And,
I will
and
say-
how he moved on to do fucking Death Stranding.
Right.
And
I will say
Delta.
this: David Hayter, the voice of Solid Snake,
Yep.
did come out on X or Twitter or whatever
Yep.
the fuck you want to call it recently, and was like,
I-
"I'm
yeah.
asking you guys to please give this game a chance."
I know.
Like, I get it. And
I know.
even Kojima seems kind of interested in what they're going to do with it.
Well,
Listen.
because I'm looking at it and it's pretty much shot for shot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
And
beautiful.
It looks incredible.
It does.
Right.
And that makes me mad because I don't want to support Konami.
But Where
I'm
are
mad
you
about
guys?
Kojima.
Where are you guys gonna go ethically consume?
Listen,
You know,
there's
you're
no
right.
such thing
You're
as ethical
absolutely-
consumption under the capitalist law.
That's true.
But seriously, though,
Suddenly the communist flag drops
You're
behind
right.
us.
big old hammer and sickle. No, but really though, like, I love Metal Gear Solid 5. Like, I
God, yeah.
recently just played the absolute shit out of that game. I
Wonderful
did
game.
every single possible thing I could. I got into the modding scene and played a bunch of other extra shit that people put out. But
By modding
man,
scene, you just put a nude patch on everybody, and you were like, it's called the dong out
it's
patch.
called quiet. No, but really though, it was so fun. But man, it got lackluster towards the end, and obviously
And yeah,
that's when all the
because
shit
that's
was
when
going
they
down.
were literally fucking him out of the company.
And I was just so disappointed because there was so much potential. And you and I,
Oh, I fucking
and
love that game.
we all have been crackheads for Metal Gear Solid
Oh, yeah.
for
Oh, yeah.
God
Oh,
knows how long.
I never played 5 because of what they did to
I
Kojima.
don't blame you.
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't play it either in the beginning. And it also came out around the time of Witcher 3, and we all know how that went, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
no one fucking everyone played Witcher 3,
Yeah, I
and
was
no one
playing
touched
Witcher
Metal Gear
3,
Solid
and
5.
no other games came out for like 2 years.
Yeah,
to me.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit rough, but yeah, played it recently, really enjoyed it. Just kind of in a weird spot as far as that whole,
It is. There's
Thing
part
is
of me that
concerned.
hopes to get it on sale.
for sure.
You know?
Yeah. I think I got it free from like a Humble Bundle or something like
Okay,
that. 5,
we are,
I mean.
we are working our way through this. We are almost to the end.
I'm
for
sorry.
What's going on? No, you're good. This is why you're on this show, is to talk about things.
I don't mean to
You-
distract.
You're
No,
literally
it's good.
providing
All right, fair
content.
enough.
It is just my job as the host to occasionally whip you
It's true.
and hear what moans come out of your mouth when I do.
I paid for that.
Okay. So I'm going to skip a little bit here. They showed a trailer for Hell Is Us, which looks interesting.
Ellis does look interesting.
Looks really interesting, but they haven't really told us much about it. But I want to turn the mic over to Hector because I know that he wants to talk about
Oh my god.
Lies of P Overture.
The Lies of P DLC. Oh my fucking god. So I've already waxed very poetic about this game in the past.
Okay.
This is
You're gonna have
by-
to tell this all to me now because I haven't.
This is
I know nothing about
and
it.
I know you love From Software
Yes.
games, Souls games, they're great.
I suck ass at them.
That's fine, but like they're fun to play and do things in and like learn to master. This is by far the best game that From Software didn't make.
No kidding.
This is a different studio.
Yeah.
It's like a Korean studio. It's their first fucking outing.
No
and
shit.
they made by far, and there have been a lot. There have been so many. And so many bad Souls-like games
Oh, yeah.
that are just trying to be
Yeah.
Dark
wait,
Souls.
I need you to say something, Hector.
Mm-hmm.
Would you consider Lies of P an indie game?
No,
Okay.
no. This is
Why?
a fully funded studio,
Okay,
a
that's
Korean
fair.
studio. They're not. It's not like Five Guys in a basement or anything. Like this is a game studio where people are paid all their money.
Okay.
And
Five
you
Guys in
know-
a Basement was actually my first porn movie.
Oh,
Hey,
same.
man,
Yeah.
I'd watch it.
Yeah, yeah, I'd be in it. No, but so this game is like it surprises me how good it is every time I play it. It's just very
Alright.
well made. It's very interesting. It's very mysterious, and they did it all. This Korean studio with the. What am I thinking of? Public domain
No
of Pinocchio. They just it's a game about Pinocchio, the Lies of P.
The name makes sense
Yeah,
now.
Yes.
it's about Pinocchio,
What?
the puppet, and Geppetto made him, and he has like these fucking mechanical arms, and he can put different arms on and use like a flame arm or a shield arm or a
Okay.
stabby arm, and he has weapons, and the weapons are very Souls like
No kidding.
more like Sekiro or Bloodborne actually,
No
where
kidding.
there's like 5 weapon
Yeah.
archetypes.
But
So what
You
I'm
know-
hearing, Hector, is that they didn't have to pay anybody for the rights.
No, they paid no one for nothing. They didn't pay.
All
They didn't
right.
pay From Software or Miyazaki for Souls shit. They didn't pay anyone for
So
Pinocchio.
happy for them.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And the best
Oh.
part is they made a really good game. They made a From Software game that's better than some From Software games.
that is wild.
And this DLC looks so badass because here the thing about From Software games in general is people usually fall into one or two camps, or they either like everything, or they're only here for the boss fights,
Yeah.
or they hate the boss fights and they're only here for like the lore and world building and normal traversal and the RPG shit. This game is amazing fodder enemies that feel amazing to fight. Beautiful boss fights, like
Okay.
intricate Sekiro style boss fights. That you will learn and that will learn you.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like you're just going back and forth, spectacle upon spectacle, interesting lore, reasons to play the game a second, third, or fourth time. Like the Easter eggs, just cool shit. And the bosses they showed off in this DLC trailer
Yeah.
just made my jaw drop and my pants sweat. Like
All right.
it was just so fucking good.
You've sold me.
I cannot wait. The Lies of P. Check it out.
Definitely sold me. Yeah, I'm gonna actually pick that up pretty much as soon as I'm back in town because
So
fucking that
good.
sounds super cool.
It's so good.
So there was a couple of there was a new IP that was announced. One called Dreams of Another. That's kind of like PSVR adjacent. It looked interesting, but
It
nothing
is
too exciting.
interesting.
You've lost me if it's PSVR
It's not only PSVR. It's supposed to be just a
Okay.
PS5 title, but it has PSVR support.
capability.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the vibe I got from this is like it's a video game telling a story about people who make video games, and it seems like you advance in the story by using normal video game tools like guns and swords and shit like that.
Okay.
But instead of it destroying things, it creates things.
Right.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
like, a
like
reversal of the
you-
tropes.
right?
kind of
Like
thing.
like you make a tree or
Holy
a forest
shit,
or
okay.
shit. Like but like with your gun. You know, and it's a really interesting concept,
creation
and
as
it's
opposed
trying
to
to do
destruction
like
kind of thing.
yeah, it's trying to do
So
something artistic.
there is
I dig that.
years ago I went to the Games Developer Conference, and there's aside from the interviews that I did while I was there for the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
Friday they do a writing summit, and that was the one thing I did for myself. I didn't report on it, nothing. And what it is, it's an 8-hour class.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just about writing in video games. And what they do is they have like 7 speakers that come up, and while they are all teaching you a different aspect of what it's like to write for video games, in this particular course, they have you play a game alongside them, not like a video game. What
Okay.
they do is the one that I attended, you pulled ideas out of a hat, and you came up with a game based on the things you pulled out of a hat. But every section, you had to pull a different thing out of a hat. And the idea is what they called it was the pulling it out of the hat is basically someday a producer will be at your studio and he will have had a dream. And he will walk right into your game that you've already been working on and
Yep.
planning and go, I've got a new idea. We need to implement this right now.
Okay.
And so the course is about teaching you how to react to these changes that happen. And when I see a game like this one, where you use a gun to create instead of destroy, this sounds so much like something you would come up with at a game jam
Yeah.
or a
Yeah.
course like that. It's like, oh yeah, we can use guns for more than just killing people.
Yeah.
And it looks beautiful. It's
does.
the
It looks
one
cool.
game that like I say go out and see look for the trailer if you haven't seen it. It's called Dreams of Another. It is gorgeous. It's hard to describe, and I'm so fucking here for it.
It looked crazy dreamlike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
absolutely. They did a trailer for Days Gone Remastered, which feels
Yeah.
like weird to me. 'cause-
Okay, so-
did anybody play this game?
Yes.
I heard mixed stuff about it.
Both
so I
me and
didn't-
Ross played it. We both liked it quite a bit.
Okay.
It has some survival elements, and the problem was when this game came out, we were so fucking over open world games, and we were also equally super fucking over zombie shit.
Right.
But we had
were-
been waiting for this for years.
Yeah, and it took
they
forever to come out.
Exactly, because they kept
We had a
saying,
whole
like,
Last of Us in between there.
Yeah.
we're gonna give you the World War Z flow
Yeah.
sea of zombies thing,
Yeah,
and they
and they
kept
fi-
saying that and saying
They
that.
finally got it working, and it's a great game. I played it on my PS5 when I first got
Mm-hmm.
it because I realized I owned the game for some reason. I got it somewhere like through
They
a
just
bundle or
they
something.
just give it away now.
Yeah. And it wouldn't because I remember when it was coming out, all the people reviewing it were like, "Guys, this is a great game.
Yeah.
This is really well designed. Even down to like the menus, there's so much care put into everything to make everything feel like diegetic
Yeah.
and kinesthetically pleasing. Like it's very well made." And then I played it, and I'm like, "Oh fuck yeah, this is a great game." It is a PS4 game, so remastering it for the PS5 Pro, I just hope they sell some copies because they've been trying to sell this game for a very long time.
Way longer than it, like
Yeah.
even before it released. And I remember being super hyped about it because years and years before they had been showing like this is what we want to accomplish with this game. It's something we've never seen in a zombie game before, which
Yeah.
it was true at the time. We had never seen anything like that with just floods of stuff coming around.
Yeah, there's also a lot of survival elements. Like you have to take care of yourself, your hunger, your like thirst, your food, your bandages, and you also have to maintain your bike, not just with fuel, but with like parts that wear out. Same with your guns. So you're constantly in this little bit of push and pull with like your resources as you move from like camp to camp and try and move camps with your actual group of people rather than just be ambushed by other survivors out in the forest. It's really cool.
All right, that's another one I'm going to put on the list from this
There you
because
go.
I definitely.
It's a great summer game, like when
Yeah.
there's no games coming out and you have like a month to chill and you can just like play a like open world like kind of survival game.
Okay.
It's good.
All right, so I'm going to skip us to the final trailer of the PlayStation State of Play, which, holy fucking shit, I want to talk about this. So, I am not a person who is like celebrity stricken, but if ever there was a celebrity that I would love to listen to our podcast, I don't know how to make this happen, Internet.
Someone make it
Please,
happen.
somebody make this man listen to our podcast. This game called Saros, who stars Raul Coley, one of my favorite fucking actors in the world. He is a giant nerd. I love everything that he is in. But more importantly, Hector, why don't you talk a bit about this game because you probably know more about it than most of us.
Okay, yeah, I was watching the trailer and I was like there's an interesting through line with the art and I'm watching it and I'm like, oh fuck, I think that's Raul Coley. Wait, is Raul Coley in a video game? And I'm just looking at it and suddenly there's this little bit of twinge to the art and I'm like, this is Housemarque. This is a Housemarque game. This is Returnal. What's going on with Returnal? Like, why is Raul Coley in not Returnal or whatever this is? I'm so intrigued because there's a giant alien and he has a big gun and he's pointing at it and I'm like, fuck, Housemarque, bring it. Bring it. I want to point my gun right in fucking Cthulhu's eye.
So what about Returnal like really got you excited for this?
Okay, so Returnal, and Lash has played this too, I believe.
God damn, do
Oh,
I like
man.
that game.
It is
It's a fucking bullet hell
Yeah, it is a
third-person shooter.
bullet hell third-person shooter. It's also roguelike.
Yeah.
In that, you restart the day every time, and you can only get so far. And every time you progress the cycle, like, you learn new things. And there's, dozens of different, like, weapons and kinds of weapons and different ways your run can go. Different bosses you can run into. You can do things with the difficulty on your own to, like, really challenge yourself. There's so much cool shit you can do in that game. I lost hours and hours and hours to it on PlayStation 5 and then way, way more hours when it came out on PC. So fucking good. The Returnal is probably one of my favorite PS5 games, like all the way to the end of its life cycle.
So phenomenal.
I don't want to offend or trigger anybody, but who is this actor you guys keep referencing?
Yes, of course. Says the man from LA. You
I
should
know,
every
I
actor.
know.
You're from LA. You should know every
Sorry,
British.
world.
He's British.
So I first was introduced to him through the Haunting of Hill House series, the Mike Flanagan universe, as it were. He started. Was it Bly Manor that he was first?
It was
in?
Bly Manor.
Bly Manor was the first one that he was in. And he is just a fantastic actor. He does a lot of like more indie kind of film stuff. But if you follow him on anything on the internet, you know him for just being a giant fucking nerd. And he's like, I'm just going to spend my day painting Warhammer stuff, and I'm going to video it, and here you go.
Hell
So
yeah.
the first place I saw him is also the first place you saw him.
Okay.
And it's iZombie.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Fucking iZombie.
'cause he's the
Right,
doctor
'cause
in
I fucking
iZombie.
loved iZombie so much.
But yeah, he's in The Haunting of Bly Manor. He's in Midnight Mass.
Midnight Mass is a masterpiece. If you have not seen it, please watch it.
Oh my God.
He's in Follow the House of Usher.
Which also brilliant.
I can't even, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's a fantastic actor doing great stuff all the time. Giant fucking nerd. And he works with nothing but quality people. It's like, yeah, Mike
Look, man,
Flanagan,
if you're one of the people that Mike Flanagan sees you as one of his go-to people, I'm going to be interested in everything that you do outside of Mike Flanagan's work.
That's fair.
Like that simple. But yes, like iZombie, I fucking loved that show so much, and I sing that show's praises to everybody because I'm like, you guys have missed out if you never got the chance to see it.
Yeah, you missed the forensic procedural starring a zombie girl and Raul Colby.
How do you go wrong?
All right, so I think that is everything that is listed here for, that's everything for the PlayStation State of Play. But stick with us because we have one more big thing to talk about in the boss room.
Boss room.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. It is time for the boss room, sometimes related to the news, sometimes not. This week, we are going to talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart, and that's going to be portable gaming. So, why do I want to talk about this? I've been dying to talk about this forever. Because, first off, I think way too hard about the state of the games industry, as you might have noticed by the fact I do this show.
It's a daily thing.
It's a daily thing. I talk about it way too much. We have a group chat just for talking about things. But also, if you haven't noticed, portable gaming has come back in a big way.
Yeah.
We have devices like the PlayStation Portal, which lets you play your PS5 remotely. And then there's this war that you may not even know that's going on right now.
In the shadows.
In the
A
shadows.
secret war.
Which started with the release of the Steam Deck.
Yep.
So right now, from Asus to Lenovo, there's a handheld PC fight that has begun. And for a lot of people, this is the most affordable way to get into PC gaming right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have lots of talking points we can get into, but seriously, let's dive into talk about portable PC gaming right now.
Okay, but first, before we even do that, I want to let you both know that I still play my 3DS
Hell yeah.
religiously.
Yeah? Nice.
Yes,
That's
I love that
Yeah.
fucking thing.
I have a PlayStation Portal, man, and it is one of the best investments I've had.
Damn right.
Seriously.
There's also, we somehow forgot to mention the Switch in all of this
Oh,
introduction.
yeah.
Yeah, true.
And the fact that the
How?
Switch 2
That's true. It
is
is-
right around the corner.
I always have mine docked, so
Yeah,
I can
that-
and people love their Switch, and they
Yeah.
they take it places with them, and it's their portable gaming device.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, 3DS back in the day. But here's my thing about the Steam
All right.
Deck and why I
Tell us about your thing.
Please.
The thing about the Steam Deck. I mean, I have one, and
Okay.
anytime I am traveling, it is right there with me. I don't care if I'm, driving a few, hours to a new town for the night, or if I'm flying on a plane for a week, whatever, for a week away. It's with me. It's my constant companion.
But
No, my thing about it is it isn't but it's and.
Okay.
Here's
Okay.
there's the Lenovo and the ROG,
Uh-huh.
right, and the Asus. The Asus, because their Republic of Gamers is their brand, the
Yep.
ROG brand. So there's the Asus and the Lenovo,
And
and
there's like
they
10, by the way. I looked them up today. There's like 10
No shit.
portable PCs.
I don't even know
Yeah.
anymore.
and they all looked at the Steam Deck and they're like, okay, we're gonna have more RAM, more computing power. We're just gonna make it a little bit more powerful and say that our screen is better, and then everyone will know it'll be a little more expensive, but they'll, we'll be the premium one.
Here comes the but.
Here comes the
All right.
but.
Yeah.
They don't want to be Steam decks. They want to be gaming decks.
Yep.
So they want to have like the Xbox marketplace in there. Maybe if you need some EA Origin or Uplay or whatever the other fucks there is.
And no one cares.
It's that they can't get their machines to run for more than a few hours because they have to run Windows.
Yep.
They have to run Windows if they're going to do all that other shit.
Because otherwise you're running Steam OS.
Because
Wait.
otherwise you're running Steam OS.
Which
If
Valve
you guys are about
cracked
to
out
tell
on.
me that Windows is the problem, I'm out of here. I'm walking.
Hate to break it to you, bro.
Steam OS is the key to not only like the battery life, but the way that
Life.
they can crank more power into their games out of such limited hardware. And the Steam Deck is a beast. It does things it should not be able to do at its size.
Let's be real though. Like Valve, I cannot sing their praises enough.
Oh yeah,
And back when they released Steam itself, I shat all over
me
them.
too.
I thought it was such
was like,
a
who's gonna
fucking
buy
oh
digital
back in
copies of
like
games,
Counter Strike 1.5 days.
when
back
Portal
Steam
came
sucked
out
ass.
and they were exactly and like Half-Life 2 and the Orange Box series, and I was like, this is never gonna work, and
It'll
I
never
had
catch
to
on.
eat fucking crow because now
Because I
look
watch
at
you
it.
log into
Yeah.
Steam every day.
Because now
I don't even log off.
No, I
just stay
never
on.
log off.
Yes.
I'm always on Steam.
But like I had friends that worked there that, I mean, it was just amazing to see some of the, they went from a game development company to a company, and now they put that money into these crazy projects that you don't think are going to work, and they just absolutely fucking smack it out of the park.
So here's the cherry on top, though, before we
Okay.
move on from the OS conversation, is that just this year, I believe it was either just this year or at the end of last year, Steam went to Asus and Lenovo and said, do you guys want Steam OS?
Uh-huh.
You can have it.
It's
You can have it. If you
It's
want to
right
sell
here.
versions of your hardware with Steam OS,
Yep.
go for it. And then it's just a Steam Deck.
There's another kicker to
Fuck
this.
you, Windows.
And also, can I just say, in a room filled with people who love not just expensive toys, but toys that usually have no limit. Like, you know, I'm a filmmaker, whatever, but even if we're just talking audio, like, what kind of mic do you want? Like, I want the best mic. How much are you willing to
literally
spend?
decked
Like,
out our studio.
chasing that dragon.
but if you wanted to spend all the money on earth on like even a single mic, you can. You can find
For sure.
like a $10,000 microphone. But if I want to buy the most expensive ever Steam Deck, it's $650.
Yep.
Yo.
Like how does
That's
that
it.
work? How does that make sense especially in an inflation-filled world?
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
so I want to talk really briefly about what kicked this war off, because Steam Deck is the thing that fired the pistol that kicked all of this off.
it wasn't the deck, though.
But the thing about it was, and this is just my personal opinion, the Steam Deck came out at a time when it was very, very difficult to get your hands on video cards.
yeah.
And what the Steam Deck promised was a 3080, which was
Performance-wise.
it was
yeah.
performance-wise considered to be, I mean, aside from the 90, but that's super expensive, the best in the market. And they said, hey, we stuck the video card that everybody wants into a portable device, and we're going to optimize games for this, and you can play your whole Steam library on it, and we're going to put it out at a reasonable price. And then everybody went, why the fuck weren't we doing this before?
They were. That's the thing. This is the thing we haven't mentioned yet, is
Mm-hmm.
that Steam. This is not the Steam's first foray into
Oh, they've
this.
been
had the
working up
Steam
to this.
machine.
I remember the
And
Steam
I owned
machine,
one of those.
the Steam controller.
And that was the Steam machine was
And the Steam
where
Link.
yes, the Steam Link, which I also
I have a Steam Link.
Yeah, my wife has been using it. I've been using it to play Ghost of Tsushima. But the Steam machine is really where I think that started, because that was their first like, hey, we need to stop fucking around and giving Windows the entire market share of video gaming. We're gonna start pursuing a Linux-based OS that we can use, and we're going to try and make everything compatible that is within our library of video games that we sell. The end goal is to make sure everything is compatible and can run on something like that.
Yep.
And that's really where it started. And now we're seeing the byproduct, the good
Yeah.
part of that is that we don't have to have the Steam machine anymore because they've refined all the bullshit out of it.
Yeah.
And now we get the Steam Deck and
Right.
all sorts of other crazy cool shit.
And that's the smartest part, because we talked about it 2 weeks ago. Microsoft is exiting the consoles, the
Yes,
console war.
absolutely.
They're like, everything's an Xbox. You don't need to buy an Xbox. And
It's a
everyone's
PC
like,
now.
don't worry, we're
Yep.
not gonna. You know, we're gonna continue not buying Xboxes because the exclusives are on PlayStation. And I don't
Yep.
think Steam Valve decided they didn't want to pick that fight. But you know what they can do? They can make a motherfucker of a Switch.
Yeah.
You know, they can make the world's ultimate Game Boy. People actually do want that. Like,
Yep.
people want a console under their television, but they want, a computer under their television.
Yep.
And a PlayStation does that. And an Xbox does that. And a computer you build yourself does that. You know, you have infinite options, and there's no real reason to compete in that space with hardware.
Nope.
But
They're selling a
Out
piece
in
of
the world-
hardware that's basically going for the cost of the video card that runs it.
exactly, and out in the world, you know, you if you're commuting, whatever you're doing, and you want to play the games that you like, you don't have a better option than a Steam Deck these days.
Yep.
But
Unless
that
you
takes
want
us to
Switch
the current war.
exclusives.
I know that we keep
Yeah.
saying Steam Deck over and over because they are the leader in the market right now. But like I said, while I was researching this for our main topic, there was like minimum 10 other devices that exist that nobody really knows much about. But like, you know, like Lenovo has one, Asus has one. Like there's these other people that are like, oh man, this is an untapped market that right now only Steam is in, that we can maybe make some damage.
Right.
And it's interesting because I sat through, putting my old man hat on, I sat through the Portable Wars years ago.
Yeah.
When it was
Hey.
like the 3DS and the PSP, and by the way, I love my Vita. Never take that away from me. Like
the
I've
Sega
seen-
versus the
even back in the
Game
day,
Boy,
the Game
yeah.
Gear versus
Damn.
Game Boy
Fucking
versus
Game
Game
Gear.
Gear.
Eight double A's, like it weighs like 30 pounds.
Uh-huh.
Fucking
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah,
We've
and,
seen
like,
multiple iterations of that with our age, which is so awesome to
now
me.
the thing about it is, and if you know anything about this horrible capitalist society that we live in, it's that competition breeds creativity, right? And so what we're seeing is more and more hardware developers saying, how can we fit more power into a smaller system so that we can say that we have the biggest numbers, right? These imaginary numbers, we have the biggest numbers.
Yeah.
And sell it so that we are the industry leaders. And they're going up against Steam,
Yeah.
right? They're saying that we want to pick that fight.
Yeah, but they don't
And-
have the
and I mean,
actual
yeah,
like.
they don't have the engineers.
Well,
Valve
not
is
only
still
that-
a company run by engineers. Everyone else is run by profit bullshit.
But they don't have the not the track record, but the reputation that Valve has built.
Yep.
So let's talk about one of the other big factors why this is so popular. When I was talking briefly about how you buy this for essentially the cost of a video card, a lot of people have a barrier, rightfully so in this fucking economy, to entry when it comes to PC gaming, because PC gaming is expensive, especially right now.
Fuck, man.
Especially during the pandemic, it was expensive. The only reason I am a person who my entire life has built every single computer I've ever owned. I am currently using a pre-built because during the pandemic, the only way to get a fucking 3080 at a reasonable price was to buy a computer. And it's one of those things where I think about that because I know a lot of people that would love to get into PC gaming. They look at all the games that are coming out, and they, man, this stuff, all this looks really cool, but like it costs like $1,000 or $2,000 or whatever to get into PC gaming. And then you have something like the Asus ROG, or you have the Steam Deck, and they go, hey, for $500 you can play PC games.
Yep. Absolutely.
And the library is massive.
Right.
Like you don't have to worry about all the things you used to have to worry about. You get a lot of stuff right out of the gate.
And this is the funny thing, right? Because this space, the mobile gaming space, has been absolutely 100% dominated by Nintendo since I
Oh,
was
yes.
a child. Since my very first brick-sized Game Boy. This has been Nintendo's space, and everyone else was just fucking
Playing in
fist
it.
fighting for second place.
True.
Fist fighting for second place in the sandbox Nintendo built.
Yep.
You know, and Nintendo just sits there in the back laughing at you.
With
you
I have
know?
a
bags
Gamecom,
of
guys.
money.
Just so you know, I have a Gamecom.
Do you really?
Oh.
I do, yeah.
No shit.
Define Gamecom?
Gamecom is what it's called. It was a very tiny, like black and white console. I also have an N-Gage, by the way.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember that. That was the Nokia one. wasn't it?
Yeah,
yes.
well,
Oh, yeah.
The N-Gage.
Yeah, I remember that.
I
one.
remember
It was
that.
also a phone,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
I did
Yeah.
all kinds of weird stuff.
But the point
Yeah.
is that the reason Valve got into this market is because they knew 100% they did not have to compete with Nintendo.
Well, and they saw the future, man.
Well, for sure, but like they didn't do consoles
Yeah.
because the competition was a stupid way to go.
For sure.
And when you enter this market with a Steam library, you're not competing with Nintendo.
No.
The games don't even overlap, except
Yep.
for a few indies here and there that Nintendo begrudgingly lets into
Beautiful
its
Joe.
ecosystem, and then asks you to pay more for because you're in the Nintendo eShop.
But
So everyone else has to compete with Steam now, and this is Steam's world.
Yep.
I wish I had a Wii U.
But-
I
And
always
they aren't
wanted
giving
one.
it back up.
here's a question for anybody who wants to jump into the whole Steam Deck world,
Yeah.
especially non-PC people. Compared to the Switch, how easy is it to pick up a Steam Deck and start playing a video game?
Tremendously.
I would
you
say-
pick it up and you log into your Steam account.
Or create
Okay.
one.
And then if you don't have one, you can create one. And then there's a store right there
Mm-hmm.
in the thing. And there's your library if you already have games in Steam sitting right there in front of you. And you click on the one you want to play and it starts to download it.
It'll even
And
tell you which
w-
ones are optimized. For
Oh
it.
yeah, and it'll give you you know how when you open Steam it has shelves of games so you can create, but it'll say like these are the ones you have installed. And when you're in your Steam Deck, it's like these are the games in your library that run great on a Steam Deck. And you just click on one, it'll start downloading it, and it'll tell you when it's ready to play. And you click it, and you go, and you're just in.
Yep. And that is another advantage that the Steam Deck has over the competitors is a lot of them are using like things like a Windows-based OS. So
Yeah.
you're installing
The game.
You're
figuring out all the other
You're
shit.
logging into Windows. You're logging into whatever client you're
Yeah.
using at the time, and then you might be logging into the game after that.
Yeah.
You know,
Steam Deck made it so that there's only like
It's just
two
Steam.
steps
Yeah.
basically to get to your
yeah,
play experience.
you buy the game and you install the game. That's all you have to do. You're already logged in because it's your Steam Deck, and you have your library, and there it is.
So aside from the cost of the video cards themselves, PC gaming being a very expensive hobby, we are a very fast-moving society. All things considered, portable gaming on the go is a big thing for us. What are some of the other reasons you think that the Steam Deck has really blown up the way that it has? And just I just want to say portable gaming in general because we thought portable gaming was pretty much dead.
Yeah.
We saw the death of the Vita, the end of the 3DS, and we went, yeah, portable gaming's over, guys. Time to be on your consoles, and I guess we'll go back to mobile gaming as our one portable way to play things, right?
So here's the thing, and I've actually noticed this behavior a lot in the last few years. So I'm going to blame COVID.
I was just about to go there.
Not for a hardware shortage, which we did have, and that's what made the hardware take off, and people were like, oh, this is a great way to play games. But because people probably got really fucking tired of sitting at their desks for like 2 years, but they can go sit in their living room or on their couch and put on a TV show they can half watch and play on their Steam Deck. They can take their Steam Deck with them and sit outside on the balcony or at a coffee shop or in a park, while their dog runs around and just, play Sea of Stars, It's a good time.
To provide an example for myself, I use the PlayStation Portal, which all it is just a mirror device. It just logs in. It's
Streaming
literally-
device,
It's
yeah.
a streaming device to your PS5. I'm a big Persona player. And so one of the things that I will do is I will play the big story beats of Persona on my TV, watching all the things happen. And then when I hit a dungeon where there's a grind, I switch over to my Portal, I turn on the Penguin, and I get my RPG grind on. Or alternately, I'm a big strategy gamer, and I love either rogue deck builders or just like a good XCOM style game. And those are great on my Portal, my PlayStation Portal while I watch something on TV.
Yeah, it's like having 3 monitors at your desk.
Yeah.
Nowadays, back then when we were gaming, we'd have a movie on one, we'd be grinding the shit out of WoW on the other, or whatever MMO.
I mean, when all of us
Ultima.
worked together, that's how we lived.
Exactly.
And then, a third monitor for like chat windows and shit like that. But now you can do that without having to sit in front of a desk, which is nice. I will admit.
My biggest disappointment in all this is that the revolution should have happened 10 years ago.
I wish.
And it should have been on our phones. It should have been Android versus Apple.
Right.
And we should have been debating about the greatest, mobile video games and stuff. But then every mobile video game developer was like, how do we take their money every day?
Right, like we're not making those Vegas casino numbers.
Yeah.
How do we get into that? It's
How do
like,
we steal from our customers every single day?
If you would have made me a solid like RPG or something that I can play sideways on my phone while I'm in an office, I mean, fuck yeah. But no, everything's a casino or Candy Crush.
And so
all
it was
that
dead on
shit
arrival.
So I'm
bled
gonna
into
comment
fucking
on something
normal
in
games.
Twitch chat is saying right now from Little
Let's
Light
see it.
Range, saying that between the price point and the orders to return to office, it sounds like a very solid
sure.
public transport commute distraction.
Oh, absolutely.
No
if I
one-
took a
I want to
train
talk
or a
about
bus,
something that we all love here.
Okay,
I'm
what?
gonna invoke the name.
Uh-oh.
The reason that Monster Hunter is as famous as it is that the original, the PS2 version was The first edition that was released for the PlayStation Portal blew up in Japan because Japan is a public transport place. And you could literally connect to other people on your public transport without ever interacting with them. And hundreds upon thousands of people were on Japan's public transportation system with PlayStation Portals playing Monster Hunter together. That is so
monsters.
wild to think about.
Well, in the
Yep.
monster fights, it's like, okay, your commute is going to be 20 minutes. You have 20 minutes to kill this monster. By the
Yep.
time you're done, if you've carted out or not, like, it ends, you go do your thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So, God, I wish America had a decent public transport
God,
system.
if only. Yeah, if I took you know what? I'm not a traffic guy. It gives me brain cancer to sit in traffic. I hate it so much. But if I was riding a train or a bus,
Yep.
I would never not have my Steam Deck with me. It would
For
be,
sure.
if I knew I had a 5-minute ride, I'd be like, "That's 5 minutes of grind, baby."
Yeah, every original fight in Monster Hunter on the PSP, you could knock out in 10, 15 minutes max.
Yeah, right. And then bam, your commute is over.
Yeah.
Effectively.
I think we're going to be, especially because we are, as of specifically like this year and last year, we're starting to hit diminishing returns in the graphics
Yeah.
field.
Yeah.
It's like these games take too long to make; they look too good. You need dozens of artists for like one guy's
Games
lips.
take 5 years to make and millions
Yeah,
of dollars.
yeah,
and
and then it dies in 1 second because they made it a live service game, Concord.
not to name names.
Like we stuff like Dave the Diver tells us that we could have a lot of success making games with less graphics, and
For sure.
we don't need everything to pop super hard. We just need it to have a good art style, and I think we're going to see a future where we're seeing less AAA. Oh my God, this is the best looking game I've ever seen, and more AAA. It runs great on a Steam Deck.
And
I
it
was gonna
has
say,
super
there's a
stylized.
thing.
Yeah, it looks
All
beautiful
sorts of
and it
shit.
runs good on a Steam Deck.
Yep.
If you look at some of the most modern trailers that have come out in the last, I want to say 6 months, there are at least a handful of them that I've seen that at the very end say optimized for Steam Deck on day one.
Very nice.
Like literally, that is becoming a thing. That in fact,
Yeah.
we were just talking about this last episode because we were talking about the Game Developers Conference big questionnaire that they do every year, and there was some percentage of developers that go back and listen to that episode that said they are actually in the companies they work for developing to optimize for Steam Deck alongside their major PC and PS5 releases.
Well, the awesome byproduct of that is, and I just mentioned it a moment ago, but Linux compatibility. Like, I would love to not have to run Windows on stuff, especially
God,
now the
right.
fact that they're trying to turn that shit into a live service offering. Like,
Yeah,
I
no
don't
shit.
fucking
like,
care.
pay your life subscription to
Just
Microsoft.
give me a version and let me be.
Yeah, no,
So,
as soon as
yeah.
that happens, like, it'll be over for Microsoft as an OS. It's
Yep.
like everyone pay your Microsoft money. But again, with the art stuff, we have 2 games. We just talked about Midnight Walk, and the funny thing is, the other one's also called Midnight. It's called South of Midnight.
Oh God, the New
And-
Orleans game! I'm so excited for South of
It's
Midnight.
like a lot of southern like deep South voodoo vibes, and like Louisiana swamp type stuff.
Hunt Showdown style?
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
game is also, by the way, done in stop motion and looks like claymation.
That's cool.
And
Yeah.
it's just such a cool looking game.
And
I'm
it's
very excited.
all
for it.
about just like the beliefs from people who live in New Orleans, and it's just like the lore of New Orleans made into a video game. It's one of the games I'm the most excited
That sounds
for.
fucking cool.
Yeah,
Like,
the
South of
art looks
Midnight
amazing.
is-
The music sounds incredible. Like, it just seems like a fun game. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Beyond Good and Evil.
No kidding.
And in the way that the gameplay goes,
Yeah.
because it seems like you're never doing one thing for too long. It's
That's
like
cool.
you're traversing, or you're riding a vehicle, or you're like fighting something, but you're always you're switching it up.
Yeah.
So to kind of wrap this whole section up before we go into our final section of the podcast, I do want to say if nothing sells you on the idea that we're talking about, a bunch of our friends were all getting together to go to Japan this year, hopefully. And one of the things I said during our discussion was the one investment I want to make before we fly is I want to buy a Steam Deck.
Hell yeah.
That's a
17-hour flight will do that too.
Right. Like
Yeah.
we've already picked out games. I want to play Marvel's Midnight Suns. That's going
Oh,
to be
yeah.
my game
Nice.
for while we're
Nice.
doing it.
Yeah.
Like everybody's like picking like what Steam Deck games they're going to be playing like while on this long flight.
Yeah, what can I kill in like one flight? And
Yeah.
just be like, oh man, you guys never guess what I've been doing.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that the summary for this whole boss room is that Portable Gaming is not only back but better than ever.
Yeah.
It is reasonably priced, and I think that if you're paying attention to the hardware over the next couple of years, you're going to be seeing a big fight for the hardware race for,
Yep.
I wouldn't say first place. I feel like first place is kind of locked down, but there's a lot of companies out there trying to be a good second place contender.
Yeah, well, there's the thing that makes me the most interested is the Switch 2, because the Switch 2 is still small and flat, meaning it probably won't be. It might be about as powerful as the Steam Deck if it can get that high.
Right.
So what? But they're supremely confident in it. It's a Nintendo product. It's a fucking Switch. It's going to sell through the roof, and
Yeah.
everyone's going to want one. But my thing is like the Steam Deck is a fat boy. It's a big boy when you're holding it, and the Lenovo's and Asus's of the world are even fucking fatter. So we may not see as much of this one's even bigger screen, bigger hardware, bigger screen, bigger hardware. What we're gonna see is kind of like a form factor race, the same way that consoles have been doing with controllers for a really long time, until someone figures out
Let's not
what's the
forget-
best ratio for this shit.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that one of the things that was advertised on the Switch 2 is you can take one of the Joy-Cons and make it into a mouse.
Use it as a mouse.
That's cool.
I
will give them, if anything, Nintendo is innovative
Oh yeah.
as far as that stuff is concerned.
All right, that's everything that we have for the boss room. But if you're having a good time, stick with us because we're going to get into our final segment in the epilogue.
Boom.
Epilogue.
All right, everyone, it is time to dive into what we've been up to this week, what we've been playing, what we've been watching, what's been occupying our free time, and what has been making us happy. Our guest, Mr. Lash.
Oh no, the
What you been
spotlight
doing?
is on me.
Spotlight's on you. What have you been doing?
What you been
Ghost
doing
of
for fun?
Tsushima
Yeah.
has been the main thing. Really cracked out for Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah.
Wilds?
Yeah.
Guys?
Yeah,
Wilds.
Yeah.
Cannot wait.
You've been playing
So
some
hyped.
Marvel Rivals with us.
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I'm very surprised at how much I enjoy that game.
Yeah, I was
but
so
also,
skeptical.
I think it's probably because I'm actually playing with people that I enjoy to play games with. So
Mm-hmm.
it's that is more because I mean Overwatch was fun. Overwatch 1 was fun. But yeah, it's been remarkably fun, and also Jeff is the best character in any
Jeff, the
video
little
game
land shark?
ever.
Yeah, little baby shark.
Baby sharking it up, man.
Shark dog.
Yeah, how can you go wrong with that?
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the two main things I've been doing, and then my wife, hanging out with her, watching her play Rocket League.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She's a big
She
into Rocket
plays
League.
that way more than I
That's
ever expected.
amazing.
She's been playing for like
10 years.
shit, probably like at least 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. And it's one of those things where it's like I couldn't get into it.
I watch Rocket League tournaments and I'm like, this is beyond me.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
The
she-
shit they can do is insane.
She was also like incredibly good at Mario.
Yeah.
Like I'll never
Yeah.
forget the first time
Yep.
I think it was visiting you and
We
she's
were in
like,
Colorado.
Yeah,
We were
she's
in
like,
Colorado.
"Do you want to play Mario Kart?" And I was like, "Oh man, I've been playing Mario Kart my whole life. This little girl's about to learn." And I sit down and we're playing Mario Kart, and when she's lapping me for the second time, right about to cross the finish line, and I'm just barely starting my second lap, I'm like, "Oh my fucking god!" She just proceeds to do it like every map after that. I'm like, I know nothing
God.
about Mario Kart.
Her and Ross. Okay, here's the thing about Ross. I don't know if he's still here, but if he is, I'm
might
gonna
be.
suck his dick for a second. The motherfucker is good at video games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he
Like-
is, absolutely.
I don't know many people that can pick up something like that and just fucking be good at them. He is one of those people. I don't understand it, and I never
Somehow
will.
he is always better than us in every
He's
competitive
and
game
he
that we ever
doesn't
play.
have to do shit.
Nope.
Yep.
Just gets it.
So when we were in Colorado, my wife was like, "I want someone to play Mario Kart with me," and Ross is like, "Fuck yeah, I'm in." And so my first thought is he's about to crush Selena, and then they played for a while, and it was very much the opposite. And I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, your wife's a bit of a badass, dude.
I'm impressed. So that was a really interesting like.
No, it makes perfect sense that she's so good at Rocket League, right?
Yeah,
It
exactly.
fits. I don't know why. I don't know why it works, but it works.
Some people's brains work that way.
It clicks for her.
Producer John, what have you been up to this week?
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to speak with you guys about it.
Oh no.
It's the latest episode of Severance.
You are not.
Oh,
You
okay,
are allowed to
okay.
celebrate and enjoy it.
Can I-
without speaking?
Can I even say what it reminds me
No,
of?
but I'm right
All
there
right,
with you because
all
I
right,
watched
all
it
right.
too, and it's fucking amazing.
All right, well then I'm not going to say what it reminds me of, but I am going to say that this week I also watched a David Lynch movie.
Oh, you did.
I watched The Straight Story, which is about a guy who gets a literal lawnmower to travel across like state lines to visit his brother And so, high recommendation for you, James.
Yeah. I am in the middle
both.
of my David Lynch marathon.
And also, reconnecting with your brother.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful film. It's one of his most
Did I just
accessible.
hear you compliment a David Lynch movie?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Have I
It is-
died?
It is beautiful. It is not overwritten. It is just about real people doing real things, and it's beautifully shot. I can kind of see why David Lynch wanted to make that movie. Like it feels like a vacation for him, where he's like, can we just actually go on the journey this guy went on, and can I just shoot a bunch of fields and farms,
Right.
a lot of them? Okay, well then I'll do it, Disney. I'm down.
Yeah. All the cyan and magenta lights are in deep storage. There's
Yeah.
not a horse anywhere nearby. So let's just do the lawnmower on the road.
Yeah.
thing.
Mr. Hector, what have you been up to this week?
Oh man, a few things. I'm still just like face deep in BPM right now. I brought it back after having played it a while ago. This is a rhythm game, first-person shooter.
What's the full title of that?
BPM stands for bullets per minute.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and it's a roguelike, so I'm like going through with every character, and you unlock things for beating them at easy, medium, and hard difficulties, and that's what I've been spending a lot of my gaming time with, because I'm between games, because I don't want to pick something up before Monster
Yep.
Hunter.
rough,
So I'm just kind of chilling and hopping on Rivals when the boys are on, and otherwise I'm probably just playing BPM. I might try and finish Nine Souls because I love it, but again, I don't want to get it caught up in anything, and then Monster Hunter comes out because I'm going to drop it like a wet sack.
Yeah.
Been watching Invincible came out, just started.
Oh, yeah.
I just finished the
The first three episodes. Fantastic. Can't wait for the rest of it.
damn.
So fucking good.
I would like to see that third episode up for like a nomination somewhere,
Right?
because it's a very beautiful opening.
There's what else is on there? Because I've been watching a few things. Silo
Severance.
season 2 has been very good.
Yeah.
Silo season 2 has been very, very good. The fourth season of Shorzy started.
Oh yeah.
Saw 2 episodes of that last night. That
Can we
was
just go
fucking
get some
amazing.
crab rangoons?
Crab rangoon. Do you want to get some good Thai?
I can't push when I shit.
You know, we can find some Lebanese around here.
Come on, guys. Pitter patter.
Let's get at her.
Let's see. We watched a really great movie last night called Endless. This is another one in the Benson and Moorhead series. These movies are great. They're about stuff. It's really hard to explain or describe. It's one of those things that you just need to go watch one. They're horror adjacent. They're not.
I was surprised that as a person who is as deep into horror culture as I am, I had never heard of these. So Benson and Moorhead, they've made these movies that are like a trilogy or whatever of movies. They are like Sundance award-winning
No
movies.
kidding.
The third movie has like, we haven't watched it yet, but it has like Anthony Mackie in it. And they're not really horror films. They're not really scary. They're also movies that, and I do not use this word lightly. They are Lovecraftian
Okay.
in that Lovecraft let things be unexplained.
Was
Right.
Endless,
They are mystery boxes, all of them.
Yeah.
Is that which one is Endless?
Endless. So it's a movie where the plot of the movie
Are they the
is
domes?
some
Are they the domes of time?
No. Well,
Oh yes.
yes.
That is the one. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
We
yeah.
rewatched that again a few days ago, so it's odd that you bring it up. Yes.
The plot of the movie is
Guy's
basically
killing
these
himself over and over again.
2 kids that left a cult
Yep.
when they were younger. They're out in the normal world for about 10 years, and then they decide they're just going to go back and visit because they honestly don't really seem to remember what was going on there.
They
And
found a
it's just-
tape, and everybody seems to be alive when everybody's
Yeah.
supposed to be dead.
Yeah, and it's very, very fucking cool.
Yeah, it is.
These movies, I can't
Very
wait to
high
watch the rest of
concept.
them. Benson and Moorhead, fantastic directors, good actors too, because
Oh,
they did the acting in this one.
Oh, they directed too?
Yeah,
No
they
shit.
are the directors.
No
yeah,
shit.
Yeah,
I
they
didn't know
did
that.
the entire trilogy and,
Yeah.
and other movies that are adjacent.
And they tie into
Super
each
cool.
other.
Yeah.
Like literally
Super
the,
cool.
the one that we watched tied directly into the first one.
Yeah.
And it fits in a way that doesn't feel forced.
Mm-hmm.
You just go I will go back and watch that first movie with fresh eyes, knowing what happened in the second movie and go,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yep.
That's cool.
Last thing, I watched the 4th season of Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
In basically a day and a half.
Hell yeah.
It's fucking incredible. Watch it. It's one of the best cartoons I've seen since the
It's the
since
funniest
the Venture Brothers.
is-
It's fucking hilarious all of the time. All the characters are incorrigible and you love them.
King Shark is the
even
best.
for their flaws. King Shark is the best shark. Yeah, good shit.
Jeff is the best shark. Thank
Well,
you very much.
Jeff has competition with Ron
yeah,
Funches.
okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
All right, over on my side of the world, not a whole lot to talk about here. We of course watched that movie, the Vincent Moorhead movie. I listened to David Lynch's audiobook. As I said last week, I'm on a David Lynch kick. As I have been apparently taking his death a lot harder than I thought that I would, which is really weird because I just don't do celebrity deaths.
Don't forget to watch that documentary I
It's
hooked you up
fucking-
with Side by Side. It's
Yes.
one of the greatest ever.
It is going to fuck me up a little bit, but I found out that he had an audiobook where he talks about his career. In classic David Lynch style, the audiobook is about 2 hours.
Yeah,
I
that sounds about
literally
right.
was like going to visit my mom and I listened to it there and back and I was done. And he very briefly just kind of touches on all of his movies that he had worked on and what lessons he learned from them. He ends that with his talks about transcendental meditation, which is the one thing that he practices or practiced. I found really fascinating because he's not preachy about it, but he's very much into like, you know, if you are just mindful and really take the time, meditation of any kind is beneficial for you. And just listening to him talk about it. And I found myself actually like looking up what transcendental meditation is. Like, okay, what is it these really into? And it's really nothing more than just meditation, really. It's just
Yeah.
the way that you think about the way that you meditate. And he always said, you know, I do it in the morning and at night. And if I'm on a movie set, instead of at night, I will do it if I can in my trailer during lunchtime. So it was really fascinating to listen to his process and all of those things. The only other thing that I've been doing, I've been playing Marvel Rivals again, is I've been playing Citizen Sleeper 2. And I played the original Citizen Sleeper about a year ago. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's very much a visual novel style game. But unlike visual novels where you're just clicking through to the next thing of text, every day cycle that happens in the game, you're given a set of dice and there are actions that you can perform. So you're something called a sleeper, which is kind of like an android extension of a human being. Humans uploading their consciousness into a robot, and they are usually on space stations and they perform menial tasks. You happen to be more self-aware than the average sleeper is, which is why the games always start with the words, you know, "Wake up, sleeper." And the games themselves are very much about. The first game is about your relationship to other people. So you're kind of very much a blank canvas, and it's more you learning all the people on the space station story and kind of helping them with their problems. The second one is very much about your relationship to yourself, but it's also so much more expansive because you are given a ship and you can fly through a galaxy. You're not held to a space station, and you know, you wake up with amnesia and there's like somebody there that's like, "Hey, wake up, sleeper, we have to go." And he's like your friend and he's helping you out with all these things. And the way that Citizen Sleeper talks about its relationship to self and the body and to other people, first off, it's going to win fucking awards. There's a lot of discussion within Citizen Sleeper that is very much about how we don't always feel comfortable in our own bodies, but these are the bodies that we have, and we have to try and
Figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out, craft ourselves around the bodies that we have. It's sad, it's happy, I'm not a visual novel guy, man.
Yeah.
And Citizen Sleeper is that game that just by putting a dice system in there, and you don't get to roll the dice, by the way. The game rolls the dice.
Oh, you're locked in then.
The game
yeah.
rolls the dice for you at the beginning of
Much
every
like
day.
life.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
at the beginning of every day, you get 5 dice that have been pre-rolled for you. And when you go to complete a task, you can select which value of dice you assign to it. So it's like, I'm going to make a cheeseburger, I only need a 1. But I'm going to weld a pipe out in space, I need a 6. So
Yeah.
I'm going to grab that 6 that I got really lucky to get. And you get classes. There are classes in the game. So like in the original, I played a much more like charismatic, you know, stat-wise character. In 2, I decided to go a very more physical character, which is not a way that I play RPGs ever. I'm always more of a
backline kind of
high
dude.
charisma, high intelligence
Yeah.
is the way that I roll when I play RPGs. But I'm like, you know what? I am going to play the strong man in this one. And the thing about Citizen Sleeper 2 is there are different categories of skills that you can level up as you go through it. But each class locks out one of those stats.
Oh, okay.
So imagine you're looking at like a D&D sheet. And
Yep.
You got charisma, strength, all this stuff. Every class does not have access to one of those
Yeah.
stats. So what you're doing in Citizen Sleeper 2 is you're recruiting people to come be on your ship, very like your traditional Firefly style
Yeah.
story. And you want to get people that offset the fact that I'm not a charisma character, so I need charisma characters to come on my ship to help me make those roles and do those things.
Yeah.
I got a cat.
There you
So
go.
I'm a little bit of a spoiler for Citizen Sleeper
If I had
2.
a ship, if I had a spaceship, it needs to
It
have
needs
a cat.
to have
so,
a space cat.
So this is kind of a little
too.
small spoiler for it.
That's what
you
I'm
may
saying.
you may or may not run into this story depending on how you play the game because it does go in a lot of different ways. At one point in the story, they say that there is a creature on board, and we can tell that it's eating the food in our storage. And everybody's freaking out because they're like, "What the fuck's in our ship? Why is it eating
Alien.
our?" Because supplies are a thing you have to buy.
Yeah.
Like you need those to function. And at some point, you are given an option to as Salem comes in here.
There's
It's
the
like,
cat.
It's like the man knows because it is a black
Yeah.
cat in the game. You're given an option within the game, which is to either eject where you think the creature is out the airlock,
Oh.
or put out more supplies for it. Now, this is costing you in-game
Yeah.
resources to feed this.
You're screwing yourself to some
Yeah.
extent.
So I didn't realize for a long time there was a cat in the game. I didn't pay attention to the key art of the game. I was just like having a really good time, being really emotional about things. And at one point, I went to go load up the game, and I noticed on the key art there's the sleeper there, and there's a cat floating in space next to him. And I literally said out loud, "Wait a minute!
Your brain
when do
just-
I get a cat?"
Yeah.
Right.
I want to know when I get a cat. And as soon as I loaded up the game, because the night before I was feeding whatever
Yeah.
was on the ship, as soon as I
Peekaboo.
booted the game up, it showed up.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's super
and
awesome.
you actually have a debate with your crew
Yeah.
as to whether or not to keep it.
Yeah.
And I was
Because,
like,
yeah.
of course I'm gonna fucking keep it.
Yeah.
What else am I gonna do with it? You
Right.
Give it to some asshole? No.
Yep.
Right.
It's true.
And so like it's really cool to like I don't know, man. Like
Do
I
you
said,
recommend?
dude, I'm telling you
Yeah.
right now, it is on Xbox Game Pass, the best value in gaming right now. I would say if you get a chance to play Citizen Sleeper 1, do it. It is a short game. It's easy to get through. But Citizen Sleeper 2, man, it is what a sequel should be, and that
Yeah.
is taking everything from the original, amplifying it. And like when a game starts to tug at my heartstrings and I feel an emotional connection to virtual
impressive.
things, that is a game that I know that it's going to stick with me a long time. And even if I only play it the once, because I really do feel like maybe this is one of those games I just want to play the once and let my story be the story that I make, like when I played Cyberpunk.
Yep.
Citizen Sleeper is going to sit with me that way. And it just has such a beautiful way of explaining the human condition through the eyes of a robot.
Yeah.
That, like, man, it will touch. If you have a heart, it will touch it.
That's cool.
Yeah, so high recommend for me. All right, that's everything that we have for the show this week. Don't forget that you can head over to goodnight.gg to become a patron of our show. You can head over to facebook.com/GNGDcast where you can chat with us, as well as at GNGDcast on Twitter and goodnight.gg on Blue Sky to talk to me directly. Whew, what a heck of an episode, Lash. Thank you for being on.
Hell yeah, man.
Thank you,
Anytime.
Lash.
I loved it.
We missed you, man.
I fucking missed you guys
It's
too.
been like 300 episodes since we've seen you,
hey,
man.
well, you just tell me.
Yeah?
Tell me when you
Come
need
on
me.
back.
I'm in.
All right, until next time, for Hector, this is James.
For James, this is Hector.
And for you, this is me.
Everyone, good night.
Good game.
Nailed it on the first try.
Very nice.
Thank you, everybody.
Did you ever
Little
play,
librarian,
Mullet
the
Map
visitant.
No, I don't even know
Look
what
That's
that
me.
shit up
This is
on
me.
Steam right now. I
Oh.
saw you have Steam open. I can't wait to play that
I
game.
was just gonna bring this up.
I cannot wait to play
Have you
that
seen
game.
this shit yet?
Cyberlich?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just okay. You just look it up. I can't.